All right, so I've been putting this off because this kind of thing sort of freaks me out, but it's time that I finally break down and answer some of the questions that everybody has. Ever since I posted these before and after pictures, I've been getting questions. And there seems to be some confusion, and there's some things you should know in order to understand exactly what happened and how and if this is for you. What I want to do is clear up the rumors and exaggerations. First of all, despite what you may have heard, Slacker Method is not for sale. In fact, me and a handful of friends and family are the only ones who have ever used it. And I only taught those guys parts of it. I'm getting a lot of people telling me they want me to teach it, and that might happen. But before I do, I want to make sure there's enough interest. And I guess if there is, I will teach it. The second thing to know is this isn't a diets don't work thing. Diets absolutely work, and they worked for me. I just didn't stick with them, mostly because I didn't think they were very fun. And a lot of people tell me diets aren't supposed to be fun, and that's cool, but I would say, why not? We'll talk more about that in a bit. Third thing to know is I used to think being a slacker was a bad thing. Not that long ago, really. And if you think that, I totally get it. I would just ask that you hear me out and see if you're at least interested in what's going on here. The next thing to know is I'm the kind of person who likes to know stuff other people don't know, especially when knowing it makes me look cool and get results that other people can't. I kind of live for those occasions when I can prove the prevailing wisdom wrong in some kind of big, obvious way, kind of prove all the experts wrong by doing something that they said was impossible and sort of rubbing their noses in it. That's really how this all started. That's how I stumbled on the secret weapon that makes all this work. The secret weapon that none of the experts is teaching, by the way, even though the evidence for it is right out in the open where anybody can find it in published studies that are available with a simple Google search. So what is that secret weapon? I call the secret weapon Slacker Method. And basically what Slacker Method is, it's a workaround for men over 40 that lets you get cut and jacked, as the kids say these days, without most of the limits of other programs. In this video, I want to give you kind of the thumbnail version of how it works. There's two parts, the science part and the mental part. Let's start with the science. Slacker Method is not a diet, and it's not an exercise program. So instead of eating less calories, which you would call a diet, or expending more calories, which we call exercise, Slacker Method uses a third option. To explain that, basically, in simplified terms, your body has two basic operating modes. There's the fuel storage mode and there's the fuel burning mode. You know this because we've all been frustrated when those are working against us, like when you're dieting and after a while your body switches into storage mode and you hit a plateau. Frustrating, right? And then when you're trying to build muscle, your body can randomly switch into burning mode because you're not eating enough calories or you're not eating enough protein or whatever. And you can be stalled from getting any muscle building results because of that. We also know now that you can use biochemical signals to hijack the fuel burning system and turn it on. That's how GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic work, right? Slacker Method uses a similar signaling loophole to Ozempic, but without the injections or the side effects. And then at the same time, Slacker Method uses other biochemical triggers to switch on muscle building. And I'll get more into the exact details of those and how that works in later videos. Basically, by making sure that your biochemical switches are in the right position, you can get multiple times the results from your dieting and exercise without even really doing what most people call diet and exercise, which makes it possible to basically eat whatever you want a lot of the day, and it makes it possible for me to put on muscle while working out less than 7 minutes a day. So for now, to keep from overwhelming you, that's the thumbnail of the science. I'll be getting more into the weeds on that stuff in later videos. The real secret behind how Slacker method works is the mental part. So let me show you what I mean. We've all been told that dieting and getting muscular is supposed to be hard, right? Everybody knows that it takes long hours in the gym, serious discipline, that is uncomfortable and even painful experiences that have to be done consistently for a long period of time if you're going to have any hope of getting it to work. And even if you do all of that stuff, 9 out of 10 people won't do it long enough or consistently enough to see results and will fail. So really the hardest part of getting started with Slacker method is getting anyone to believe that it doesn't have to be that way. The hardest part is breaking through all that negative programming. I've had people mad at me, sending me angry emails at work because the diet I taught one of the guys can't work, even though the guy in question had already lost 20 pounds just using one part of Slacker method. I've had people tell me that it's not a real diet because you can eat whatever you want at times throughout the day. I've had people tell me that it doesn't make sense after I showed them the 2 belt notches that I was down. It can't work, they said, because it breaks the rules and it doesn't create a calorie deficit and it doesn't limit how much or what kinds of things you can eat. It's funny how many people get angry and deny the results that they can see with their own eyes just because they have been told one thing their whole life and can't consider that there might be more to the story. And I get it, I really do, but aren't you at least curious? Curious enough to give it a try? I mean, what do you have to lose? So if you're at least intrigued, I'm going to ask you to follow the link and join the school group. And as a thank you, I'll give you access to a set of videos that I'm going to be releasing over the next week that will teach you how to get started with Slacker method this week and start to get results. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.